clearly. Oh, this time it's down to me and you too. It's beautiful to know. And I'll see from the eye to the sheen. We'll be flying these starry seas. We know we'll never let this go. We'll do the secret now, stories to unfold. We're free, and you'll now move with me and we're gold, pieces of the whole. And we'll be flying right in a dream. Sky sea, inside you, out of me. Let's be all those things we have seen. No more waiting now. I have made, I have known, I have gone through the night. We've made, we've known, there we We'll be flying right in a dream. Sky sea, inside you, out of me. Now we
Hello, welcome everyone to the 49th official episode of Eunuch Corner Club Live. I'm Yizz, as most of you know. Today we have an excellent guest. We'll be talking about localism and how to get involved and make a difference locally with him shortly. But first, I would like to remind you of two important things. First, I have a fall meetup scheduled, a white positive, America first, patriotic, whatever you want to call it, meetup of people who care about America and want to make things better. It'll be October 8th, 9th, and 10th. If you want to come to that, it will be a bring your own camping supplies, but I'll be providing food. I've already reserved all of the sites. You're just responsible for getting yourself there and getting yourself back home. And of course, having your own tent or bedroll or something. I have plenty of food and drinks scheduled. So if you're interested in that, reach out and let me know. We still have about 4 spots that aren't claimed. You can PM me. You can reach out to me on the server, if you know what that is. Or you can reach me in one of my Telegram or Discord channels. Discord channels. Also, it comes as no cost to you. If you want to donate to help with costs, that's fine, but there's not a price tag on it. Just let me know if you want to become and be involved and meet some of the gang. Second thing up is I want to thank all of you who have started supporting me monthly. You can support me monthly on Entropy. That's something that I had to enable that I didn't even know existed until a few weeks ago, but I have that enabled now. So if you prefer Entropy over Subscribestar or Cash App or another way to financially support me and the channel and the work I do, you can support me monthly in 4 different tiers via Entropy. All the ways to financially support me are in the chat. Also, if you want to send Bitcoin or if you want to send me things via mail, I do have a P.O. box. You can find all that in the description below. But I'd like to start first by giving a thank you to the people on Subscribestar who support me monthly. And those people are Heidi Van Berskirk, The Alabaster, Already Death, Joseph, Landman, Zanazak, Deus Light, Bellicus, White Healing, Violence is Life, Sack Smiths, and West Y11. And Landman, I saw your message on Subscribestar, and I'll be responding later when I can. So, without further ado, we are going to bring on a friend of mine, someone I've known from around the way for a while. He looks like he's ready backstage, so we're going to bring him on right now. Hello, Joshua Hamm. How are you today, sir? You got to unmute yourself there, but you got it.
I am well.
Good to hear you. Good to see you.
It tells you that. Yeah, I mean, I think the first time we saw each other personally when in November.
I think November, March is when we first met, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So.
And I didn't go to the one on the 6th because I was, let's just say I was equipped and in reserve in case we were going to cross the Rubicon.
Right.
But anyway, I wanted to bring you on today because you have a lot of wise, intelligent things to say. You are a dad. You have things that I think are important that others need to hear. And also, you're going to run for local office. And I wanted you to talk about that today, too. So I'd like to start today by you just telling us about yourself. And go ahead. What?
According to Texas laws, I am not yet declaring because I have recently learned about some of the bureaucracy.
Oh, okay. Then you are considering running.
I am considering a run.
All right. Okay. Then Josh is considering running, and we'll let him tell you about that a little later. But he loves the things that I love. He likes the things that I think make America what it is and make it great. And he cares about the same kind of, whatever you want to call them, just good old Christian Southern values that I care about. And I think he's a good man and a good father. So I wanted to bring him on and give him a chance to talk to us about stuff today. So Josh, if you don't mind, take a few minutes and tell everybody listening today who you are, what you're about, and what got you to this point.
Sure. My name's Joshua Hamm, and I grew up in a small town of about 5,000, and it was horrific. And so I joined the Army, and of course, since I graduated in 2002, I joined right after 9/11. Basically, I waited till I was 18 and then joined because I'm at least 4th or 5th generation military, so it's kind of part of what we do. As a lot of people who are prior service are, it's a multi-generational thing. And I really believe in the values of Americana, maybe not as they're practiced, but as they are supposed to be. And
can you take just a second and elaborate on those? Because they're probably the same ones that I espouse on this channel.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, the core essence of Americana is simply that you are responsible for your own well-being. Your class doesn't matter. Your race doesn't matter. Your religion, your ethnicity, none of that crap matters. All that matters is that you're willing to put in the hard work. And to be fair, everybody has their own stumbling blocks. They've got boulders in the road, and they're different for each person. But that doesn't mean you can't succeed. It just means you got to figure out how to overcome your own obstacles. Life sucks. Deal with it. But the point is that true Americana means that there's nobody standing in your way at a government level preventing you from achieving that which you desire. That is the essence of Americana. Simply that the government allows you to do what you feel is just and right to make your life and the lives of your children better, as long as you're not infringing upon the rights of others. It doesn't seem that complicated to me, but Does that seem similar to your basic perspective?
A bit, yeah. The thing that I think matters in what you said to what I talk about is taking responsibility for your actions, making things around you better. And of course, I talk about race a lot. Everybody knows that because I think in a big picture, that is kind of important. But when it comes to working on a local level, making connections, getting things done, I think that Christian values, self-reliance, male stoicism, positive male role models, good fathers, and just proactively making things around you better like they used to be. That's why I liked the slogan, Make America Great Again. I think that matters in most people's lives in a way that bigger picture stuff probably will miss them. That's why when I'm talking to regular folks at church or whatever, I don't talk about demographic replacement and all that stuff. Like I leave that out most of the time.
That doesn't affect your average person in their
Yeah.
day-to-day life. That
Well,
doesn't mean
it
it's
will
not
eventually,
important.
but for what we're talking about, especially in
Right.
America, it doesn't really matter. That's
Like I said,
what matters for getting people motivated is their family, their community, their traditions, and seeing the ugliness that's starting to erode the communities that they love. That's where we can get people motivated to do something. And
Right.
I hear you talk about that kind of thing a lot. And I know that, let's see, where was I going to go with that? I know that we're not allowed to say you're officially running yet or not, but I'm assuming it's that drive that is making you consider running for office, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, was I a patriot? Of course I was. But a year ago, I was just your normie con who, would occasionally listen to Rush Limbaugh or something. So maybe I was a bit more informed than your average normie. I was a normie con, but I was still back the blue, and I was still like, oh, I'm sure that there's reasons for this, and that there are people on hire who know what's going on, or blah blah blah. And much as Bear Trap said there, no, I am not a libertarian, because I have come to the point where if your principles mean that you are unwilling or unable to use power to help me defend my children from tyranny and slavery, then you and your principles are the problem, and they're the enemy.
I agree.
Period.
I think that liberal and libertarian ideas and values, even though we were sort of based on that a long time ago, they were either doomed to fail from the beginning or have been subverted for so long, they are part of the problem. And
I think they could work at a local level.
yes,
If we're talking about my neighbor, then don't infringe on my neighbor. Sure. Mm-hmm. But even if we go up to the town level where it's like, no, we don't want Walmart here because we've got 5 mom and pop shops and we want to protect the dignity of these families. They've worked hard for it. I don't have a problem with the city saying we're sovereign. No, go away. We protect our citizens. Just as a father should protect his citizens is the role of whatever level of government that you have to protect its citizens. This isn't, I mean, in my opinion, that's what I think.
Sure.
In the
Sure.
big
And I didn't bring you on here to argue with you. I brought you on here to learn about you. So if there are little things that I disagree with you about, I'm going to brush over them because that's not why you're here today. So will you tell me about
learning too from you?
Okay.
This is a conversation.
Okay.
I want to hear so I can learn and do better because I'm new to all this. Like I said, a year ago I was a normicon. All I want to do was grill.
Hey, that's where I was for most of my 20s and even my early 30s. I get it.
The first really big political thing I did was when I went out in November and met you.
Oh, really? Okay. All right. So you're even newer to this than I am. Okay. All right.
Yes.
Well, the reason that I talk about big picture and small picture stuff is what matters most to us right now is having breathing room and the ability to have an America to salvage. And the bigger picture stuff is what the elites and the organizers and the bigger brain types that care about loftier stuff, like your AAs and your NRX guys and stuff. I think most of that talk is not what activists and localism needs to focus on. We need to focus on the kind of stuff you talked about, the kind of stuff I talked about earlier, because that's how you get people motivated. Most of the people that we're going to get motivated now that weren't motivated before, they just want to grill. They just want to be dads and moms. And that's why that's where we should put the focus on stuff. So with that being said, can you share with us some experiences of what being a family man and a parent mean to you now that you've started noticing things, and how that maybe has driven you to take action?
I would say that one of the biggest things that I've noticed is simply like normicon. well, yeah, we should have, school choice. It completely makes sense, free market, blah, 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 blah. Whereas now I say, in order to be able to protect my children from government indoctrination, and in order for you to be able to protect your children so they don't hate you due to government indoctrination, we need school choice. It's no longer a matter of it's nice to have. It is necessary for the
Yes.
protection of my children.
Good.
Because
I would like more parents to
pedos-
come to that and actually act upon it.
Yeah. Because you pedos are absolutely attempting to destroy my family, and that is not acceptable. Period.
And we seem to have a pedo problem in every level of America right now.
If you don't, we'll try to keep this relatively, yes.
Yeah, we're on YouTube, so we're going to be pretty chill here today. But we'll save the Fed posting for late nights on other venues. But speaking of Fed posting fun on streams, Entropy is having direct streaming now, and I think Don's going to toy around with that this weekend. So I'm going to see if I can get something set up and maybe have a late night let's all vent and Fed post together stream where we can all scream into the void at each other about the things that we dream about. So with that being said, let's talk about the things that you dream about for your local area, and let's talk about localism today. Have you, in the last year or so, been involved in any local awareness campaigns or local activism or anything like that?
Okay, so because I'm so new to what's going on, effectively after January 6th, I was so fed up with everything that I was like, okay, like simply being somebody who holds a sign and goes rah, rah, rah is not enough.
Yeah.
If not me, then who? If not now, then when? So I am going to actively step up, and I'm going to serve my community and my nation once again in a way that I really, really don't want to do. I do not want to do this and put my family out there and everything else. This is, in general, this isn't something that conservative types want to do. I don't want to be in the limelight. I'm not a hero. I'm no one special. I'm just a dude who wants to take care of my family. But if nobody else is going to do it, I have no choice.
Yeah. That's what led me to taking action too, is I saw such inaction in everyone that I knew. Because the people I knew were regular liberals, regular conservatives in America. I didn't see a lot of difference in the people that I knew because they didn't really care. I knew people that were sort of into Mises libertarianism and separatism and stuff because they were like, oh, hey, it's cool. We can make our own city state and all that. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of a cool idea, kind of, old school. But I never really got active. But then during the Obama administration, I started realizing, hey, wait a minute. I started noticing things. I started talking about things. And then I started digging deeper and finding out how much I'd been lied to about everything, about economics and politics and demographics and states' rights and individual rights, and how basically the Constitution had been shit on for 150 years and how things didn't go at all in almost any of the wars, like I was told in school. And I got so angry at how I felt like I was lied to so much, it had to be on purpose. And so that's when I really started getting active and caring. And that was in around 2012, 2013. And then I started becoming a public voice about this about 4 years ago, and then started my channel about 3 years ago. So what brought me to here was basically that, is nobody was doing anything about the lies and the corruption. And I was so sick of everybody I turned to either being part of the corruption or too scared to say anything about it. So I was like, well, you know what? I might be lacking the equipment, but it's time to jock up. So I decided to be the one that started making people in my area talk about what was going on. And when I started confronting people at the university, at the clinic and the hospital I worked for, and even in my own community, and I don't mean that as any stupid lefty way. I mean the people that lived around me in my actual subdivision. Right. I started getting such pushback and rejection. I really butted heads and realized that I can't just shout the truth and the things that I think and that I know at people, because we have generations of a mind block, what Jason calls mean pathogens. I call it the mind poison, that makes people automatically reject things that are counter narrative to the establishment. So you got to be careful, and you got to walk people there in steps.
And that's exactly why I tell people to become the mind virus. Mm-hmm. Who here believes that there's this huge swath of leadership in the GOP, and that there's really smart people who were making plans in the GOP. Do you?
I don't.
I sure
No.
don't. Those people are
No.
retarded. Like,
I think they're
literally
tools.
functional. I can't believe that they breathe, right?
Yeah.
So, or at the very least, they have zero understanding of how to use power and of how to market to be able to gain more power, because politics is just sales and marketing.
And that's what America First is about, is getting rid of the garbage and putting in people who care.
Right. And so with that knowledge, that even people who, even normie cons, if you sit there and you go, hey, do you really think that Kevin McCarthy, just because he's a name that people know, do you think he's a wise, studious leader who's directing the GOP in a national level in a good way? And they'll go, no. You think Mitch McConnell's like a decent human being who's a good representative of what Republican Party is? No.
What a laugh.
So then why don't you just take it over from the inside? If there's no leadership, then it's not that hard to have a hostile takeover from the inside. Just go take all these seats that are open because nobody's paying attention. So if you're the only one who's, I'll give an example. Okay. Because like I said, I started in January. So I had to start by simply finding how to even find out what to do. So I started by calling my local GOP every other day for 3 weeks and leaving messages until somebody finally called me back. That's how much they were interested in actually having somebody do something. My local county GOP. It's like, do you know how many people actually call asking to help, going, hey, what can I do to help? That's a powerful thing. You don't have any volunteers that are willing to do that. And it took them 3 weeks. This is, at best, this is just foolish, right? I finally was able to get feedback from them. And they were like, hey, you're under 40, so why don't you go join the Young Republicans that just got stood up? So I went and I joined the Young Republicans, and I got in touch with them. One of the first things I did was I went to a walk with them, where you just walk on doors, passing out literature, going, hey, please vote for this person. Because you never make a sale if you don't ask. So go knock on doors and ask. It's not rocket surgery, right?
Yeah. I say that a lot too, the rocket surgery thing. I love that.
There are over...
My community seems to like you a lot. We've already got a bunch of questions waiting for you. So whenever we get to the first break mark, we'll have a lot to chew on. This will be fun.
Okay. So at the very first political function, because I'm not interested in the social function per se. I don't need you people as friends. I am trying to protect my children. I don't need friends. I've got friends. So at the very first political function, which was a block walk, I went up there. And it was about 2 hours away. I took my kids with me because it's a Saturday and I'm a dad. And let's be real, if you're a 250-pound large white guy with a beard, having a baby strapped to your chest in one of those little carry things makes me a whole lot less scary when I knock on your door.
Yeah.
Right? You use the tools that you have available.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to knock on doors, and at the end, I'm talking to people, and I'm asking, I'm like, oh, well, who else here? About 10 people showed up. I was like, huh. And then I started talking to the vice president of the Young Republicans for the state of Texas. And he said to me, do you know how many registered Young Republicans we have in the state of Texas? This hardcore right stronghold? 2,000. Do you know, and how many actually showed up to do work? 10.
Wow.
10 showed up to actually do work out of 2,000.
Yep.
That tells you that, again, where's the leadership? It's not that hard.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Fast forward a little bit forward, and I go to do another block walk. Bring kids with me again. Why not? This is good for them to begin to understand what it means to be involved in your community. Even if it's not my community, it's still being involved in at least a community. Yeah. And so this time there's like 15 people there, and I'm one of the 15. And the vice president's there again. So now I have just raised my credibility with this man to such a degree, because I'm one of the only people who actually show up and do the supposed thing that the Young Republicans are supposed to be doing.
That's good. One of my most popular morning walk videos when I started that series about 1.5 years ago was one that was called Be a Hero, where I talked about we have no heroes left in politics, the movies, media, military, anything. Our future is in our hands now. And if we do nothing, we will have nothing, because we are at a breaking point right now with tyranny, demographic replacement, economic enslavement. We are looking at the precipice of not just losing our civilization or our country. I think that decision was made for us a long time ago. What we're looking at now is nihilism, the pit of nothingness. And if we don't man up and be heroes now and take our fate into our own hands, well, then I know the direction that the people who have our fate in their hands want for us, and it ain't pretty. So I think that's why we have to be active and be the heroes in our communities that we want to see in the world. We have to pay that forward. We have to show people and inspire young people to be the heroes we need to fix all this mess.
Well, I would be slightly hesitant in using the word hero. And the reason why is this.
Okay.
Real heroes never say they're heroes. If I have to tell you how badass I am I a badass?
No, I don't mean badass as in going and what I mean
I just
is
mean like in general, just as a general question. If I have to tell you that I'm a badass, am I a badass?
Maybe. I don't know.
If I was a badass, then you would know it by who I am and what I do. I don't need to tell you.
Okay,
I am.
I don't think most people think of that when they hear hero. They just mean someone who does great things and is a good person. Like that's a hero, like an archetypical hero. Like I think that's what most people think. That's why I use that word the way I do.
Maybe it's my military background. I would
could
not
be. But, and again, I could be wrong. But
I would say service. And this is where I make the differentiation, because to be a hero does mean to be of service. It means that you are of such great service and utility that you have risen from the position of servant to that of servant leader to that of hero. Like that's a step on that service, and that's what we need.
Sure.
We need servants who believe in actually serving their families and their communities by doing things they don't want to do in service of the values that they say they hold dear.
I think the reason I use hero is I see the damage that the anti-male agenda has done to men and masculinity in the last several generations. And I want to inspire young men to be heroic. I want young men to know that we need them to rise up and be bold, stoic, wise, moral champions of our people. And that's why I use the terms that I do, is to inspire and to kindle the warrior spirit within our people. That's why I use the language that I do. It's not that I want everybody to try to be some kind of combat badass or anything. I mean, that's cool, but
no. It's unnecessary. The problem with most heroes is that you find out you're a hero posthumously.
Yeah.
And that's not exactly the heroes we need. we need servants. Anyway.
Well, none of us are going to live forever.
we're talking semantics. But the point is, those two interactions of 2 Saturdays, I don't know, call it 8 to 5, not that much time. But because of that, I then got invited to actually be on the phone calls that talked about the direction that the Young Republican Party of Texas was going. And so now, am I a voting member? No. But does my voice actually have weight? And so people are listening to me because I have credibility, because I'm actually doing the things. And that's just from showing up twice. Like, that's how little effort it takes to become an integral part of your local community.
Yeah, that's what I tell people on my channel all the time. I'm not asking people that listen to me to spend 40 hours of their month knocking on doors and putting themselves at risk or anything. All I ask for my viewers is know who your local PTA, who your local representatives are, know who the mayor or the governor, whoever it is, whatever your municipality or county is. They've all got different titles, like executive mayor and stuff like that. Know who these people are, know who your sheriff is, know who your chief of police is if you live in an incorporated city, and be ready to constantly give these people feedback. Go knock on a door, and also talk about these people and what they're up to at your church, at your gun club, at your book club. I don't know what you do in your community. Maybe you play video games with some of the other parents or whatever, and you guys have parent-kid time with video games or playing out in the park or whatever. But localism starts with people talking about what's going on and what matters. That's what localism has to start with, is people that already have an investment together in a community wanting to make change to secure and protect that community and secure a future for their children. That's what this is all about. And I think that we need to let people know you can make a big difference with just a little bit of effort. If everybody that listens to us would spend 30 minutes a month caring, 30 minutes a month sending an email or making a phone call, we would make tremendous difference. And I think that that's one of the reasons I respect what America First is doing across America, is they're getting a lot of people motivated to care and to get involved. And I think that's very important.
Yeah, but the way that we on the right are going to have to be able to actually get people to care and be involved is to show them that they are literally having their family threatened.
Sure.
Because
that's good.
The thing is, we on the right are not aggressors. We're not going to sit there and go burn down blue cities who do stuff we don't like. That's not who we are. We have jobs, we have families, we have things that we will not lose. We're not going to lose them through our stupidity. And it's part of the problem that we've had is that the left and the right have been playing different games.
Yeah.
See, winning to the right means having a good family, your kids are doing well in school, you got a good job, you're taking care of your business. That's what winning means.
And to our enemies, having control of that is them winning.
Exactly. Right? And we cannot win a game we're not playing. And I understand it. Like, do I want to sit there and run for office? Not particularly.
Yep.
Do you want to sit there and get your doctorate so that you can be a professor at school? Probably not. Do you want to sit there and go and work at the DMV so that you can stamp paperwork? No. That shit sucks. That's not. Yeah. That doesn't feel capitalist at all. But what
we have to do it.
Is. Service is about doing the things you don't want to do to actually push the values that you espouse.
Just 1 second here. I'm getting ready to shift to the community engagement. So I'm putting out the Entropy link again. For those of you in chat that say you don't know how to use Entropy or it doesn't work on your devices, I'm sorry to hear that. But Entropy is excellent. Entropy should work on any modern mobile device. It should also work on pretty much any computer. It's just a browser-based or app-based chat engagement software. And that's where you can post, and it doesn't cost money. You can give me paid chats over there, like super chats on YouTube or hyper chats over on Odyssey. But you don't have to, because there's a question widget on Entropy where you guys can leave your community engagement questions for me and my panelists. And that's what we're going to get to right now. So we're going to start off the day with Architect of Fate. Architect of Fate donated $5 to say, considering the amount of pedos that appear to be in all levels of government, especially the school system, should every city and town build their own wall for them?
Here's what I would say. Why is it that your mayor or anybody in your city holding people's feet to the fire? If there's an incident with a teacher in your town, every parent should know about it. The mayor should be standing on that pulpit preaching it to everybody. It should be in the local newspaper. This is serious business. And that's a thing that we can do locally is we can raise awareness of what happens and bring a hellacious firestorm against them.
Yep.
Okay? Because the only reason that this continues is because nobody is actually holding feet to fire. If the school board were held, or at least feared that they would be held personally or politically accountable, they would not be willing to stand in defense of that teacher or that postal service worker or whomever.
Or whatever the case may be, right.
Right.
Moving on. Yeah, moving on, we have All Minus One with 2 donations here. Again, on Entropy. All Minus One for $5 says, A fundamental problem on the right is that they are constantly infighting, or they are apathetic to the leftward cultural influence. This is because we do not think like collectivists. The left is inherently advantaged because they love being slaves to a system. I don't really think that's a question. It's just commentary, but that's pretty keen as usual from Bill.
I would,
just to let
say,
you guys know,
I would say yes and no, but
go ahead.
we on the right, we on the right, we love hierarchies.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
which is a form of collectivist, but I know what Bill meant by that. I know what he meant by that.
Right. No, I know what he means too. I mean, but part of what we need to really understand and break down is like Bear Trap was saying earlier, is this libertarian idea that's been instilled in so many of us of individualism. When you're born, you were not born as an individual. Right. You were born as a son, as a daughter. You're born as a brother, a sister, a niece, a nephew. You're born into a family and into a community already. Yes. You're a member of that group. Mm-hmm. Okay. And the things that you do, the things that you say, the actions you take have consequences on that. And people that threaten that group, by definition, also threaten you. Mm-hmm. And because we have lost that on the right, that concept of community and family and of the hierarchy that derives from that, that's part of the reason why we have lost the ability to be able to fight effectively.
Yeah, we've talked on my channel plenty about how individualism has been purposefully embellished and thrust to the forefront of Western identity, specifically because it makes people weak, because ape together strong. So moving on entropy, that was from All Minus One. Bill, All Minus One, also says this for $3 US. He says, some leftists love power, but most love the servitude. We offer responsibility and hard work. Though that provides dignity, a leftist doesn't care about this. Just look at their indignant behavior. Yes, very, very keen observation. Now, to let you guys know, Bill of All Minus One got a channel strike for a video that he did, for a stream that he did this week. Of course, it was unfair and ridiculous. So his main channel, All Minus One, is down for a bit. The ends justify the memes, however, is up, and I'll be streaming with him after this. So, Bill, if you would PM or send me a link to that stream, I will circulate it here for the people that want to watch us talk about related things after this stream. So, let's see. That's all of the paid chats for now. We have over on PayPal, I would like to thank Crown Target for his sizable donation. Thank you so much, my friend, for supporting the meetup. He donates $200 US to help us for gas and reservation fees and everything. Thank you so much, Crown Target. All right. Over on Entropy, not Entropy, on Subscribestar, I'm going to refresh and make sure I don't have anything new to read on Subscribestar. We don't. I'm also going to check over on Entropy. Nothing new on Entropy. So that means I'm going to thank Alex and Jim for donating the correct number of lemons over on DLive, which is 14, of course. Thank you so much for your lemons over there, my fellows. And Trovo's empty. Let's see. Odyssey, we have no paid chats, but I do see Azimuth Clark and a couple of other familiar names over there. But we have some Entropy engagement on the question widget from my buddy Carnal Conservative. He's got some things to say. Oh, and we have Shelley with us today, too. Howdy, Shelley. We will start with Carnal Conservative. Carnal says, a great tool for local elections and knowing where your candidates stand relative to you is a new app I found via the Lotus Eaters called ActiVote. He says it needs more based viewers. I'm unfamiliar with ActiVote, but apparently that is an app for connecting people to know what candidates to vote for and stuff. So those of you that are listening, you can check that out. I can't do it live on air, but thank you, Carnal, for that. Anything that you have to say on that, Josh? Are you familiar with that app? Because I'm not.
I'm not.
Okay. Then I'm going to move on to the next thing that Carnal says for us today. He says, we not only need school choice. Does the guest support the dismantling of the Department of Education and the Teachers Union? I would personally support forgiving all student debt if we could abolish the former. What do you think about that?
I support 50 individual sovereign republics.
Hell yeah, me too. All right. All right.
Does that answer all those questions regarding Fed stuff?
Yeah. Almost 100% of the time when a question comes up about federalized institutions, my solution to that is we don't need it, we shouldn't have it, and it should be local and state controlled. That's pretty much my answer to everything federal.
Yes.
All right. Next, we have Shelly. Hello, Shelly. Good to see you today. She says, what are some things you think everyday busy people can do to get them involved but not overwhelmed? Well, I think that's a good launch off point for me and Josh to talk about how you listening, whether you're a mother or a father, or maybe you don't have children yet and you're not a parent, but you want to get involved. I have things that I like to talk about on my channel, but let's let Josh start with this. For a working mother or a working father, or just a full-time mother or father out there that doesn't have a lot of time to devote, what are some things that you recommend they can do with what little time they have to make a difference in their community and bigger picture?
Honestly, like realistically, one of the best things that people could do that wouldn't take a lot of time is simply going to the city council meetings and to the school board meetings. Just go. Even if you don't say anything, just go and begin to observe the process and pay attention to what's going on. And then as you get comfortable, you can ask questions, whatever. Most of the time, those meetings are only once a week or once a month at like 7 o'clock. And you can take your kids with you. I take my kids with me most places I go. If they have a problem with it, that sounds like their problem, not mine. But if you just did that, there's nothing. If you want to be real spicy, then you can take a video camera with you and start recording things.
Yeah.
But even just knowing that somebody's paying attention, sunlight is the ultimate disinfectant. Okay. And so if anybody is paying attention, then that changes the program, because I understand there may be people who are single moms working a job, blah, 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 and they're not even able to do, joining a school board. That's too much for them to do. Okay. Maybe they can't have the time to even, they can't get free Thursday night at 7 p.m. to go to a school board meeting. Okay. Worst case scenario, find one politician in your local area who's somewhat like sheriff, justice of the peace, mayor, whatever. Find one person you like and talk to them, send them an email, call, and just ask, hey, I've got 30 minutes a week on Saturdays. What can I do to help? And they'll tell you. They'll be like, hey, can you, here's a list of phone numbers. Can you call these people? Here's a list of emails. Can you email these people back? Here's the thing that you can do. And you can start working from that. And you're developing credibility within the system, the power system as it exists, because now they know who you are personally.
Yeah. And here's an important bit of wisdom I'd like to pair with what Josh just said. When you're engaging on the local level, talking to people at the local school or university or local church group, you don't have to wear your beliefs or your activism on your sleeve. You don't have to talk about any particular issue. You don't have to identify as left or right or America first or whatever it is. Just act like a concerned member of the community who wants to get involved. Then you're going to learn, okay, who do I think is shady? Who do I think has a clear agenda here? Those people make themselves very evident very quickly when you start getting involved. And then you'll know who you can work with, who you have to work against, who needs to be undermined, and who's just a disingenuous shill for the establishment. It's very easy to start picking out who's who once you get involved and see their behavior. So definitely keep in mind that, you don't have to put yourself at any risk. You're just a concerned parent or a concerned member of the community that wants to get involved and help make things better. So if you carry that as your image to the people that you get involved with, you're going to be safe. Like, you don't have to worry about being canceled or whatever. If you just show up and want to be a concerned person. So a second thing that I would like to talk about here about localism is what I do is I don't go out and get involved physically because I live in the middle of nowhere. So getting involved physically, even with the school board, would be like an hour drive for me one way. So I don't do that. I get involved via the phone, emails, and physical letters. I have, Tennessee has, it's either 7 or 9 districts. They have 4 or 5 major school entities that I don't email or communicate with. But Knoxville is a large city here with the University of Tennessee in it. So I have the mayor of Knoxville, I think it's the dean and the administration of comptrolling. And I copy and paste the top 3 or 4 people for the University of Tennessee. I have a list of about 50 people that are public elected or appointed officials in Tennessee. And regularly, I will email these people, send them phone calls, and a few times I've even I've printed out letters and hand signed them and mailed them off. If you keep this list and just familiarize yourself, and like I said, I'm not asking for a ton of your time. Let's say you're a busy mom or a dad, or you're going to school or whatever. Spend one afternoon of your month familiarizing yourself with who is in control of your county, your city, and your state, and knowing their email address, their phone numbers, and what they look like, know their name, know if they're a family man or not, know if they're a Christian or not. Just have some basic ideas, because if you notice, oh, hey, this guy here, he's from out of state and he don't have a family. Why is he here controlling my city? Or if you see somebody who has a big Catholic family, that might tell you, hey, this guy's probably involved, at least in something religious or Catholic. This guy definitely is going to have a home he's invested in somewhere here to have all these kids. That's usually a good sign of someone who's more workable, so to speak. I mean, it's not always true, but you start noticing things when you start getting involved at the local level. So just one afternoon of your month or one evening of your month, you can do this, because all these people have public profiles, and pretty much everybody that's an elected official, even down to the county level, you can at least find an article about them from a local news station. So it's really easy to familiarize yourself with the people who make the laws and enforce federal laws, which is more important these days, on you and your family. Know who these people are so you can bug them, send them letters, and let them know when things are going badly, and let them know how you want things changed. So what would you say to that, Josh?
I would say that's pretty true. And if you want, there are many levels that go beyond that. That's real entry level. If you, let's say that you're a disabled vet like I am, so you've got a little bit more time. Okay, so find 3 or 4 different groups that say things you're interested in, like voter reformation and Second Amendment and whatever, and just find out when they're going to have some kind of rally at the Capitol or whatever, and just show up. Texas is a big state, and we really believe in firearms here, supposedly. But when I went to go support the constitutional carry amendment for the state of Texas, there were like 12 people there at the state capitol, which meant that I had direct access talking with the executive committee for the Republican Party of Texas.
Yep.
They now know who I am face to face, because I was one of 12 people up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not special. I just showed up.
Like when I was getting involved with the university last year, it was easy to meet the dean. There were local news people there. Like when you start getting active at a local level, you actually get face to face with the somebodies of your local area, whether they be in charge of a student union, whether they're the leader of the GOP or the DNC local student chapter. You actually start meeting and getting in the face of people. I don't mean that in an ugly way. I just mean getting FaceTime with people that actually matter, whether they be a pastor of a big church, whether they're involved with the local university or news team or whatever. If you get out there and put yourself out there and want to make a difference, you start meeting the people that you need to influence pretty quickly.
Yeah. And so, for example, I've been going to my local Brazos County Republican Party luncheons, where they have speakers and you talk to people, and it's like $20 a month to be able to go to it. It's not that big a deal. Again, I take my infant with me. I feed him there with me. Nobody has any problems with it. Heck, it's full of like old people who love kids. No biggie. Mm-hmm. Most of them are boomer cons, but they still like kids.
Yeah. And
so
even
you can take your children with you.
Yeah. And even if you're going to a place that you don't think people would be very, receptive to someone new, keep in mind, everyone is new at some point. Like if you want to go get involved at a church group, or you want to go and talk to, let's say that there's a Republican chapter at your local state school or community college or whatever. Well, it's important to realize that you got to start somewhere. And everybody is new. Everybody's a rookie at some point. And most people will remember that, because most people are just normal people. And if you go out and talk to them, you'll realize how much like other people you are. And that's a very important thing in this world of disconnection and fake reality that we have to swim through with the internet. You meet a lot of radical ideas. You meet a lot of angry, hostile people. But when you start going out into your community and talking to people, it's usually not like that. You meet good, wholesome people, regular folks that just want a good life for them and their kids. And that's almost all I talk to. Now, I do live in a pretty good area. Now, if you live in a cancerous city, it probably ain't going to be like that. But for the most part in America, if you're trying to make your local community stronger and better, you're going to meet some pretty agreeable people that will be receptive to your help. Has that been your experience locally, Josh?
Yeah, well, because most people who are in politics really aren't bad people. They're just not necessarily leaders.
At a local level,
necessarily
I would disagree about Washington, but that's a different story.
Well, no, I'm saying even if you look at Washington, most of those people aren't leaders.
That's true. Yeah.
You know, part of the reason I'm running is like my district is R plus 25. What? That means that there's like 75 in terms of turnout. It's like 75% Republican and 25% Democrat. That's huge. Or no, not. There's a 25 point spread between the two.
Right.
So like, what, 63-47 or something? Anyway,
something like that.
The point is, if we've got to spread that far, why don't we have a firebrand? Why don't we have somebody that like is actually standing up for hardcore, Christendom and conservative values? Why would we need? Why accept somebody who's just go along to get along, don't make any waves, as opposed to a Matt Gaetz or a Marjorie Taylor Greene? You don't have to like them. You don't have to agree with them.
And that's what America First is all about.
Leaders. They are leaders. They are leading their pack, and they are moving their people in a specific direction. Who else is doing that? And if they're not, why aren't they?
When it comes to the contacting people element, remember that you don't have to be anonymous in person. It's okay when you go to get involved to let people know, hey, I'm so-and-so, I go to this school, I go to this church. Let your connectivity with people be genuine and personal, because the internet connectivity sort of scares us conservatives, and I use that term loosely, us people who want to fight against the system or whatever. It can be scary thinking about opening up yourself and your family and your loved ones. But remember, the people that you're going to meet, they are local. They have families too. They have a lot to lose too. So talk about what's important to you. Talk about having 3 kids you need to feed. Talk about your family business being destroyed by the stupid lockdowns and the people responsible. This is what normal folks are talking about at my church, in my area. And that's probably what they're talking about in your area too. There's a lot of angry, regular folks right now that want to get off, that want something to be done. So now is a great time to recruit and have a healthy localist movement going on in most of our states right now. So just keep that in mind.
When the 80-year-old lady at the Republican Party meeting, who we're going to assume is not like the most highly based person that ever existed, when she's sitting there going, why is Texas even listening to this stuff? We should just secede. These people are horrific and evil. It's like, this has really, really gone much further than people think it has. People are really upset and fed up. And it wouldn't, the problem isn't that California and New York are communist. That's not the problem. The problem is that California and New York are trying to force their bullshit on us through the federal system.
Yep. Just like that America Forward crap in California, where they're wanting to force Section 8 and welfare into every community. They're purposely wanting to take inner city people and immigrants and force them into every county in the state. That was in Biden's plan last year, and he said he wanted to do that to every county in America. Like, it's ridiculous. And the ugly thing about all of this is most people literally don't have the time or the energy to know all of the stuff that I do, to know all the stuff that even you do, being newer to this. And we have to reach them in the ways that they are going to see and feel. That's why I push localism now as a means to making bigger change, is because it doesn't matter if 20,000 people that only talk to each other on the internet all know the same stuff and want the same stuff. Until we start getting hundreds of thousands of family Americans motivated to make change, it doesn't matter what we know or what we think. We have to get things done. We got to have boots on the ground. We got to have voices instead of bullets right now. And that's why we need to aim those bullets, so to speak, those voices at the targets they need to be at, which are all of these useless conservatards and jackals and establishment shills that litter our local communities. We got to push these people out and take control of our local areas. That's why I think localism is the way to go right now. So I know that we have some dissenters in the chat, but that's okay. They're still my friends.
Yeah, no, it's fine. And realistically, for starters, I don't argue with anarchists.
Yeah.
And this is nothing against anarchy. But what would be the natural result of anarchy? What will
is the people who already have all the money, power, control, and bombs will take power even quicker in that situation. That's why
you'll go from a government to anarchy to a government. That's all that'll happen.
Right? Or worse, just a corporate technocracy dictatorship, even more blatant than what we have now.
Right. So how do you actually protect yourself from that future? The only thing that can protect you from it is localism, is building a stalwart community that is able to stand on its own. And hopefully from that community, you can then work on your county and then on your state. But there's, even at the state level, there are so many bills that are in there. You can't keep track of them all. My congressman can't keep track of them all. There's no way. Even people for like the Texas Young Republicans, the guy who's the political director, do you think he keeps track of all the bills, both House and Senate? There are literally thousands, and we only have session once every other year. There's 0% chance he can do that. But if we have enough people who are each willing to go and spend 30 minutes a week or whatever checking up on one bill. All right, this is my bill that I'm going to sit there and I'm going to look at. And I'm going to see where it's at. And I'm going to find out who's endorsing it. I'm going to find out who's opposing it. And I'm going to write emails to those people. And I'll put this out here on this forum of people who are interested so that other people can just copy, block, text, whatever, paste. Then that's something that can be real and useful because nobody's able to keep up with all this stuff.
Yeah, I've participated in email campaign lists for the local news to try to get them to cover the BLM anti-white stuff in this area, because last year we had a big push from the cancerous universities not too far from here, putting out Nelson Mandela propaganda, putting out, all this, I'm not going to repeat it because it's gross, but like this anti-white BLM propaganda you see all over the place. We had actors even out here, even where I live, trying to put up these little signs and hand out flyers and stuff. So we tried to get local news to cover it. They wouldn't. So, that's how it is. But we have to keep pressure on the people that we can put pressure on as we are putting our own people, hopefully to replace these people. So, and again, local media is not all lost. Big time media is pretty much rotten. But local media is still local people that are beholden to locals. So you can have some pressure there. You can have some success there with pressure. Yeah,
decrepit media is by definition decrepit. And so, there is some chance at local, but you can also, if you've got 50 people in your town, just 50, depending on the size of the town. But in my town of 100,000, if I had 50 people out there proselytizing about, BLM activists or something like that, within 2 to 3 weeks, pretty much everybody in the town would know. It's not that hard. And
it only takes a few people to make a difference locally. Yeah. Like, because when you look at it locally here, having 10 people together to actively protest something or go to someone's office, that's actually a big deal locally, having even 10 people together that all have a unified voice and want to go bother a mayor or an alderman or a school board about something. 10 angry parents or 10 angry church members that are part of the same group, they actually can get a lot done on a local level. So, and you don't even have to have 10. 3 or 4 angry parents can go and bother a principal about a stupid policy or something, and maybe you'll get your way, or you'll at least let them know, that they are angering.
Somebody's paying attention.
Yeah, that people are paying attention.
Yes. Yeah.
So, and that's the goal with everything I do, is to get our people paying attention and noticing things, because I think that the more we notice things, the more people will take action, and the better chance that we have of surviving this storm that's coming. So with that being said, we've been on for an hour, so we're going to move into the last segment of the show now. I know that we don't have you for too long because you have another speaking engagement tonight. But we will show that.
That's not till 8 p.m. So
Okay.
got time.
Well, I didn't want to pressure you. Let me check all of the usual spots, see if we have anything going on here. While these refresh, I'm going to open up Cash App and see if we've had any Cash App donations today. We sometimes do, and I often forget to check Cash App because I have 1,000 things to check. So we're going to refresh here. We're going to refresh there. Over on Entropy, we are towards the end. So if you guys have any questions for me or him about today, get those in now. We will be wrapping up here shortly with a little bit of shilling. Let's see here. Thank you to Cranky Cracker for your Libre donation over on Odyssey. Thank you very much. I see that. Thank you to Violence is Life and Alex for all the new lemons that you've donated. Again, with the correct number. And we don't have anything new on PayPal or Subscribestar and nothing new on Cash App. So moving into the final segment, I am going to be sharing your public Twitter again. Is there any other platform or location online that you want people listening to have to circulate or to contact you about localism or helping you?
Currently, no. Obviously, you can reach me on the server, but currently, no. But I'm working with the Texas Nationalist Movement, an independence project for Texas, and they're working to help me learn. Basically, they're being political consultants, which is amazing, and they're developing website because their whole goal is, hey, we got lots of people at every level of government who don't want to allow Texans to have the right to be able to even vote on whether or not they want a referendum on whether or not Texas should secede or have independence, excuse me. And so they're like, well, we're tired of waiting for them to take us seriously, so we're looking for people to run for office. So I took them up on it, and so I'm kind of trailblazing a little bit, and so we're working on developing. That's what the phone call later is to begin working on, stump speeching stuff and mottos and values and try to, kind of narrow it down a little bit to make it a bit more bite-sized for our more normie audiences. And,
Okay.
And to go with that, they're going to have a website that'll have all the stuff.
I just shared the Texas National Movement link in all the chats here, so you guys can check them out as well if you happen to be in Texas or want to support. That's the one. Mm-hmm.
Definitely, and if you are in Texas and you don't know how to run for office and you want to run for office, you can contact me on Twitter or you can contact them. Become a member. It's like $30 for a year, and if you're serious, they'll vet you. And then they will assist you in being able to run for local office, going from 0 to something more than that, maybe a hero.
Okay, I have everything that we need linked, and so now towards the end of the show. Cardinal Conservative pops up again over here on the question widget on Entropy to say the ActiVote app handles all of the things that we've been talking about today. So it seems like somebody made an app for organizing localism. So that's cool. I'm going to look into ActiVote. That's excellent. Let's definitely look into that. We don't have any other paid chats or donations that I can see. So we are going to move to the final segment, which is talking about any particular events that you want to shill. Doesn't have to be your own. Are there any upcoming public events, any upcoming internet events that you would like to invite people to, like your conversation later?
No, that's going to be private for now. Although I am hoping to. Well, part of my goal is to videotape the process of me going from not even realizing, what I had to do in terms of paperwork just to get started.
Okay.
Going from there and trying to, I'm trying to bring multiple people together to work with me so that we can create effectively a docu-series on how to begin the process and move through the process of becoming and running for local politics.
Okay,
and
sounds good.
Not making it specific about any one office, but just, here are the steps you need to take. These are the things you need to do. These are the forms you need to fill out. It's going to be more specific to Texas, but the general concepts should be applicable to everybody. And so that's kind of the goal is we don't have a basic training for political activism. We don't have
True.
a standard operating
Yeah.
procedure. We don't have, localism 101. And so all of us are individually trying to figure stuff out. And so if there was some sort of, I say docuseries because I'm not sure how else to do it, but some sort of training regimen wherein we could send people to that they could kind of follow along at their own pace and begin to realize that they can do this too. Because again, I'm just a diesel mechanic. Like, if I can do it, you can do it.
Yeah.
Right? So do it.
Yeah.
But I understand the concern a lot of people have where they're like, I don't even know where to start. I don't know what to do. I totally get that. Like I said, it took me 3 weeks to get just a response to a phone call. So then I could go to the next step. So then I could go to the next step. And I'm still like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying to connect with people and network and figure stuff out. And
Well, I'm really good at video editing
hell.
a large batch of video files. So if you want to make a docuseries, I'll gladly edit it down for you into a small shareable format if you want. Like once you get through this and you want to just have some documents or things to show or links for me to put in while you're talking about it. If you want to take, an hour or two of you just talking about your experiences and having some bullet points of your own that you talk through, I'm glad to chop that down and edit it down to like a 10 to 20 minute presentation style video for you if you want.
That would be amazing.
Sure. That's
definitely
pretty
take you
easy
up
for
on
me to
that.
do because I'm good at that kind of video editing. So
Nice.
not
But yeah,
not the fancy flashy kind, but the trimming down and making it presentable kind. I've done a lot of that, so I'm pretty good at that. And I'll gladly do that for you.
Yeah, I think that if we had a process by which we could begin to move people into the pipeline so then they could start going down the pipeline, it could really escalate the process because, like you said earlier, people don't like the thought of going into a place completely ignorant and feeling stupid because they have no idea what's going on. And they're like, I'm brand new and I totally care about my country, my community, but I don't know anything. And it's like, that's not a good feel. So
no, but unfortunately, that's where lots of us are right
now.
now. So we do need some help getting connecting the dots and getting moving, and that's what this movement is all about. Go Team America! So with that being said, we have come to the end of the show. The thing that I'm going to shill right now in all the chat, I'm going to be doing a stream with Bill shortly. I'm putting the link in all the chat to both his YouTube and to his Entropy. This is where we will be talking shortly in 30 minutes to an hour from now. And the first link there is to the YouTube host link. And then the second link here is to Bill's Entropy. And as usual, we always prefer people talk on Entropy because it's not censored. You can say whatever you want. It's got the question widget. And we can take donations there that doesn't give YouTube any money. And that's the most important thing. So with that being said, I do have a very special episode of Discordant Dragons coming this Monday night. It's going to have Don the Pleb and Semiagog. So we're going to have a lot of fun with that. I'm going to work all weekend on coming up with some particularly fun gimmicks, and I'm toying around with the idea of having a prepared 2 to 3 minute introduction video that I just play at the start of the Discordant Dragon streams for fun. So if I can put that together this weekend or have any good ideas, I might debut that this coming Monday. I don't know about that yet, but we're definitely going to have Don the Pleb and Oliver Semiagog on, so that'll be a lot of fun. Go ahead, Josh.
Real quick, because I realize this is going to be something that many people are worried about. Machiavelli sucks. Who trusts election nowadays? A totally reasonable question to ask, right?
Yeah.
And so the answer is you fight where they're not at, right?
Yes.
All of their firepower is directly centered on federal government and specifically
big cities.
The executive, big cities, and maybe a couple of small swing states or something like that. But they do not have the ability to be everywhere all the time. So you're not going to get Act Blue to pour $1 million into your local school board. It's just not going to happen. They're much more concerned about your state senator trying to push, trying to tell your governor not to get rid of vaccine mandates, right? That's where they're focused. They're focused on the big stuff. So if we control the small stuff, by definition, we can control the big stuff, if for no other reason than just by saying no. Because at the end of the day, there's only, 50,000 federal Leos?
Mhm.
They can't get us all.
Yeah, and
Here's
the
my
point
thing.
of localism is to eventually have the communal strength and the unity to be able to say no at a county level, eventually at a state level. Because,
Yes.
I mean, we're looking at a lot of dark things ahead. I don't want to be a doomsayer or say too much negativity, but those of you in the know, we see some things happening in the world right now that remind us of the darkest things that have ever happened. And we're staring that in the face right now. And the best way that we can prepare for that is to get strong, unified American communities all across our great country to stand together and say no, and let the people in charge know if
Yes.
they're going to want to push that on us, they're going to have to do it with bombs and tanks. And I think that we can call their bluff, at least for now. That's why I have a lot of vigor and vim in me to make change now before we're past that point. And I know that some people say we're already past that point. I don't agree, or I wouldn't be doing this. So,
Well,
anyway,
let's go there. Okay, let's assume that maybe we're past the point. We don't know yet, but maybe. But here's the thing that I'll tell you. I will be able to look my children in the eyes and tell them that I did everything in my power to peacefully be able to present them with liberty instead of slavery.
Yep.
And if aggression comes, then we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But right now, the only method that I currently have peacefully, because I'm not a lawyer or I'm not wealthy, so the only thing that I can do is gain status in my community by being a father to as many people as possible and taking care of them.
Hell yeah,
So
brother.
that's what I'm gonna do.
We need strong, confident father figures all across the country right now. That's why I use the words and the language I do to inspire young men or even older men to be the heroes that we need and lead us to recapturing our destiny together. So with that being said, we're going to wrap up the stream. We thank Josh for being here today. We thank all of you who support localism and who support America First. We thank all of you who are white positive and care about our people of this great country. And I hope to see you all Monday night and all of you over on Bill's channel here in a little while too. So with that being said, thank you, Josh. We'll speak again soon, and I hope you have a blessed weekend.